Middle East, U.S. President Donald Trump insists that any Iran deal would not allow any uranium enrichment on his Truth Social account. Trump rejected reports that the U.S. proposal permits limited enrichment. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said Tehran will soon respond to the U.S. offer. The proposal, mediated by Oman, seeks to limit Iran's nuclear activity while allowing low-level enrichment for civilian use. Here's what the Iranian Foreign Minister had to say.
پاسخ خودمون رو و پاسخ مناسب رو به زودی خواهیم داد. پاسخی که مبتنی بر اصول جمهوری اسلامی ایران، منافع ملی مردم ایران و حقوق مردم ایران هست. و مسلماً هیچ توافقی وجود نخواهد داشت مگر اینکه به غنیسازی در ایران و ادامه غنیسازی احترام گذاشته بشه و غنیسازی ادامه پیدا بکنه.
An Iranian diplomat has also told reporters that Iran is poised to reject the deal, calling it a non-starter that does not protect Iran's interests. According to the Axios, the U.S. plan would allow Iran to enrich uranium up to 3%, enough for nuclear reactors but not bombs. Trump's administration calls the offer acceptable, but Iran demands full sanctions relief and continues to reject any restrictions on enrichment. Negotiations remain tense as both sides hold firm positions on this long-standing nuclear dispute. Now we move on to North America. The Trump administration is racing against time, calling on trading partners to deliver their best deal as it pushes to conclude a wave of trade negotiations in just 5 weeks. A draft letter from the U.S. Trade Representative's office reveals Washington's intent to fast-track discussions launched on April 9th, when President Trump temporarily halted his controversial Liberation Day tariffs following a sharp market backlash. That 90-day pause expires on July 8th. Meanwhile, talks between India and the United States could soon deliver a breakthrough. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says both sides have found common ground, and a final round of in-person negotiations is slated for this week in New Delhi. Let's take a listen to his remarks.
And we've managed, I think, to be in a very, very good place, and you should expect a deal between the United States and India in the not-too-distant future, because I think we found a place that really works for both countries. We would like market access. We would like our businesses to have reasonable access to the markets. Now, in exchange for that, what India is going to want is they're going to want certain key markets that they're going to want to make sure that they have special access to the American marketplace. And so that's the...
In Europe, Britain's Trade Minister Jonathan Reynolds is set to meet U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer as both nations struggle to finalize a deal complicated by fresh U.S. tariffs on steel. And legal challenges continue to shadow the Trump administration's tariff strategy. The White House is now asking an appeals court to put a temporary hold on a second ruling that claims President Trump overstepped his powers by imposing widespread tariffs. Officials argue that the verdict could undermine sensitive trade talks still in progress. Harvard University asked a federal judge to issue a summary judgment ruling to unfreeze $2.5 billion in funding blocked by President Donald Trump's administration, which Harvard said was illegal. In a filing submitted to the U.S. District Court in Boston, Harvard said it had received 957 separate orders since mid-April, halting funding for critical research projects. These include $88 million for pediatric HIV, $12 million aimed at identifying emerging biological threats for the Defense Department, and millions more to study cancer, Parkinson's disease, and dark energy. The freeze came after Harvard refused to comply with the list of demands issued by the White House. President Trump has accused the university and other elite institutions of being controlled by leftist ideologies and becoming centers of anti-Semitism. Harvard sued the Trump administration in April, alleging the funding freeze violated the school's right to free speech and was arbitrary. The Trump administration has also launched multiple investigations into Harvard, including probes into alleged threats against Jewish students and faculty, after pro-Palestinian protests as well as the university's ties to foreign governments. Last month, the administration revoked Harvard's ability to enroll international students, a decision now temporarily blocked in a separate lawsuit. A federal judge has scheduled arguments on Harvard's motion for summary judgment for July 21st. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke with Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud. The two discussed talks on Ukraine and Russia, efforts to stabilize Syria, and the ongoing situation in Gaza. Rubio also thanked the foreign minister for Saudi hospitality during the president's recent visit. Riyadh has not issued any immediate comment. Now we move on to Asia.